Hi everyone, welcome to Geek Latte's vlog. I'm Cindy and this is part 2 of my post E3 impressions and thoughts and that jazz. So today this one is kind of a rant. I gotta go off about it because this topic is very close, near and dear to my heart on so many levels. And yeah, this is gonna be a big one. So I hope I'm gonna be able to express this in in a coherent enough manner as possible. I don't get too much off track, and yeah, I'm able to actually put the message across that I want to convey to everybody out there. And these are just really just my opinions. I'm not gonna bring other things into it and who said what and where and blah, blah, blah. I just want to say what I think about it. And the thing that one of the biggest thing to me anyway, or that I'm thinking is the biggest thing that came out of E3, the big drama and controversy was the whole Ubisoft thing, not wanting to or not thinking that female avatars for the next Assassin's Creed 5 was that big of a deal. Okay, any game where you're going to have a customizable character, okay, not just any character, not just any hero or protagonist of your story, but a character that you can customize. And by customize, I don't mean be able to change your armor or be able to change your stats. Sure, that is one type of customizing, but that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a character you can design from before the game actually pretty much begins, takes off, where you're giving the opportunity to give your character different hair, different faces, different, facial hair, whatever, different distinctions of their character, of what they look like, of different appearances. Okay, that's what I'm talking about in this video blog, not things beyond that. Before I go into that, really, I want to make it very, very clear. Do not have anything against games, cinematic games, or games that are based on a story that feature a certain gender or ethnicity or cultural background of a certain whatever. It doesn't matter. For example, The Last of Us. Totally looking forward to that game. There's different characters in that. It's not just the one white dude. There's the girl, the younger girl, and there's a black lady as well, and whatever. Like there's other stuff going on, but it's not really the characters the characters of course are part of carrying the story forward and what you are going to get attached to, but you are not the characters. You get to control them, move them around, but you're not them. You know what I mean? They don't represent you really. It's more like you're vicariously going through their story and seeing where their story takes them. It's kind of like reading a book about certain characters, right? You can really feel for certain, feel empathy for a lot of those characters. You can sympathize with them. You can connect with them, emotionally, mentally, whatever. But they're not you. They're someone else's creation that you're living through. And Assassin's Creed, very much that's what it's been, right? Except for this one. For this one game, they're gonna let you create your character. Except they've backtracked a bit now and are saying that actually it's Arno, it's one dude that you get to sort of customize the appearance of. And that's where it gets slippery. As soon as you start to be able to customize that character, that's when things get really iffy. See, if you didn't give me the option of customizing his character and he's just who he was, then fine, I don't care. Whatever. And if that's how it is in the single player version, then whatever. When it starts to get tricky is when in the co-op version or in whatever games, when you can start to customize and be able to say, okay, well, this guy's got chin hair, this other guy doesn't, whatever, right? And not including a certain gender when you do that is a bit of a slap in the face to some of us, especially some of us that are female gamers. Now, I don't want to get into this whole, oh my god, there's not that many girl gamers out there, blah, 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 blah. That's changing, actually. We are getting more and more and more prevalent than ever before. We're gaining ground. I mean, sure, like there's guys still outweigh us, especially in my age group, in the over 30 crowd. There's not that many of women in my age group that game as much as I do, but there are. And more of them are coming out, and more of them are trying these games, right? Or coming from casual games like Facebook games or blah, blah, and trying other things. Especially now that gaming is so freaking mainstream, and it's getting more and more mainstream every day. All the time. It's like going to the movies now. You just pick up a game. It's way more attractive than a movie is. So, it's gaining in popularity. And it's just, to me, I play role-playing games. That's mainly what I play, and not mainly what I enjoy. And it's because it's like reading a really fantastic book to me, except that I get to see it on my face, on my screen. It's right there. I can almost kind of touch it, but I can't. But in my mind, it's like I can. And if I can put myself in that adventure that I'm seeing, then bonus. This is why most of my games are Bethesda games. The Elder Scrolls games, where you can pick any race, any gender you like, and customize them to your heart's content. You put mods in that, and holy shoot, the sky's the limit, really. I mean, I could be anybody, anything I want, really. And that's awesome. It just celebrates diversity and being that hero, right? Same with BioWare. Love BioWare because you can be any gender. You can have any hairstyle, whatever. And they have, as in Mass Effect, you have a generic name. It's Shepard. It's the last name. So that everybody knows you at. It's gender neutral. Gender neutrality, I think, is the issue. It's not that girl or female gamers aren't, we're not the majority, blah, blah, blah. It's the fact that now that we are there and we're spending our hard-earned money on this hobby that we're choosing, maybe you should say, hey, maybe it's time we don't put so much attention on one specific gender, because it's been like that since the 70s. But when it comes to become more about the character, all of a sudden it's different, especially if you're promising that you're going to give people a lot of customization, right? That's where the problem lies. I was a kid and I was playing all these games, and at first I really didn't care what gender I was because they were just games. But then as I grew up, I wanted to be the hero in the story, which is why I kind of I started to play this MUD, and I discovered Dungeons and Dragons as well through school and friends. And I was like, wow, I can create my own freaking character. Like, from anything, I can make them look however the hell I want. They can have any stats I want. They can wear whatever I want. Like, this is amazing. Why don't video games do this? And then, a decade later or more, we can do that now. We can do that now. We have the freaking power. We have the technology. Let's do it. And thank goodness for BioWare and for Bethesda and for those kinds of guys. I'm going to say Volition, because the first Saints Row game had one dude. I think you could customize what he looked like, but there was just a guy. And then Saints Row 2 comes out and is like, hey, we're going to put girls in there too. So the boss can be a girl or a guy. Don't matter. Don't care. I was like, yes, awesome. I was so happy. And I love Saints Row 2. Just the immersion and the sand park, or not the sand park, but the openness of the world, and I could go anywhere and do anything, and it was awesome. It was for someone that's an explorer. I'm an explorer type of gamer. I like to go everywhere on the map. It was just unbelievable, and the fact that it was gender neutral, that it didn't matter, if the boss was a girl or a guy, was amazing to me, because I could put myself in those shoes for real, because it's a gender that I know. It's my gender, and I can even make her look like me if I want to. It's amazing. And then and so I really thank those guys for making, my wishes come true, basically. And now I've got, a couple years later, and we've got games that are coming out that are either like Brink, only have so much funds or whatever budget to go through, and they're like, we're just gonna have guy avatars, we're gonna have girl avatars, maybe next game if this takes off, whatever, which I can understand. But did I buy Brink? I was really interested in Brink, but did I buy it? No. No, because it wasn't, the story was not compelling enough for me to want to buy it. Far Cry is amazing. I would love to play that again. Is it a game that I'm going to play? Maybe. Buy one day. Maybe I will if I'm really freaking bored. But honestly, I'd rather play BioShock. Because that story is more interesting to me than Far Cry. Even if Far Cry is like amazing and open and it's got a thing. If Far Cry had a girl in it, an avatar that was a female, would I? Yeah, I'd be like, sweet. Yeah, absolutely. Because to me, that's closer to me. That's where I'm going to choose to spend my money on, is on a game that offers me the opportunity to put myself in the character's shoes the way I would like to be. If that makes sense. Anyway, right? So I know that it's not going to be every game. And again, I don't expect it out of games that are story-centered. So again, like BioShock is a good example. I don't really care who the main character is in BioShock because it's not really me. And that's when I play BioShock, that's not really what I'm interested in anyway. I'm interested in the story and what's happening and, you know, how it's going to end and all the mystery and all that. It's beyond the character. I'm not saying that other games that offer other genders are beyond that, but I don't have that going as well. What I'm trying to say is that if you have a character, or if your main character is customizable and you choose not to give me the female version, for me, it's a bit of it's not a barrier, but it's definitely, I'm going to think twice about it, let's just say. Because why would I go to your game when I can go and get into Dragon Age and have a character that is an extension of myself and, you know, makes me go through all this roller coaster story and all that. And I can really empathize with my own character that I created, whether it's a girl, whether it's a guy, whether it's an elf, whether it's whatever, right? So because I'm a role player, because I like to create, I like to have control over my creation, that's the type of game that I'm going to really focus on. And it's not just an issue for role players, but it's an issue for someone that wants to be part of the story. So if you're going to have a game where you say, hey, player, you can be an Assassin's Creed, you can make your mark, you can really live vicariously, and we want you to be able to really put your stamp, your personality on that, and be able to customize it, and don't just make it one gender, and don't just make it one race or ethnicity or whatever, because you are basically telling everybody else that they're not good enough for your game. It's that simple. Or they're not important enough for you to take the little bit of extra time to include them. And if you don't want to include us, well, we're not going to spend our money on you. It's really that simple. So anyway, I think I'm going to stop there. I think I've said most of everything that I wanted to say. Probably not absolutely everything. But tell me if you agree or disagree on that. And again, this is not a girl versus boy thing. It's more that there's more of us out here now. In the gaming world is getting bigger. It's encompassing more types of different people. And we would all like to be included if your game happens to say customizable character, okay? If you don't say that, whatever. I mean, we're not gonna, if your game looks really good, really fun, if it's got an awesome story, hey, we're still gonna play it. But if you can give me a character that speaks to me like Female Shepherd does, like Lady Hawk does from Dragon Age, or my Warden, or, something like that, or even, the boss from Saints Row, then I'm myself personally, and I'm gonna say that I'm not the only one in this boat, that's where we're gonna go first. And then the other games after that will Bound by Flame even, I was sold on the fact that you had a female avatar. More so than the actual story. I was like, oh, dragons and demons and flames, oh my. And you can be a girl too? Oh, awesome. I mean, like, she wasn't exactly what I expected, but I appreciate the hell out of it, and that as soon as it came out, I went to get it. Am I making my point? So anyway, that's basically what I had to say. Sorry if I'm feeling a little passionate, but this is something, I mean, you're talking to a girl that literally spends the days creating the perfect character. And if, like, in this cutscenes, if my character isn't perfect, I will go back, delete them, and start over again. And I'll even have, like, sheets. Like, for Mass Effect, I had, like, sheets of code of, like, where the cheekbones and eyes and shit are gonna be. Okay, this is how hardcore I am about character customization. Don't piss me off. Right? So anyway, that's what I had to say. Okay, I'm done now. Bye.